By providing space for constant evolution, we can all transform how we view ourselves and the world around us.
The first thing I want to say is that it's the birthday for this, because it was made in 1723, and this is 2023. It's over 300 years old. I would like to start off playing for you a piece by Saint-Saëns called The Swan, and you've probably heard it. And one of the reasons I want to play it is because I think something's going wrong. Let me just fix this. Okay. Sorry. This program is about Bach, but I have to bring something else in so you can understand the magnitude of this wonderful harmonizer, Johann Sebastian Bach. I'm going to start with something from the Romantic period, and before that was the Classic period, and before that was the Baroque period, and that's when Bach wrote. But you'll see what I'm talking about when I'm bringing these all together. This is the Swan, and let's see. And I think it shows off the cello nicely. So. So that's, thank you. That's from the Romantic period, which is around 1850. And why I bring that out is because, believe it or not, one of the greatest composers of all time, Bach, was forgotten after he passed on. One of the reasons was because two of his sons were wonderful composers, and they were moving into the Romantic field, and he was in the Baroque, and they just forgot about him. Well, later, in 1886, Felix Mendelssohn discovered Bach, and he got the first performance of Bach's St. Matthew's Passion. And what's interesting about it is that it happened from the Romantic period to go all the way back to the Baroque. Well, why? Yes, he was a great composer, but he was a wonderful harmonizer. He could make harmony like almost nobody else did. And I'm going to play two movements of some Bach suites, which is also interesting that they weren't even discovered until Pablo Casals, and many of you probably know who he is. When he was a young man, a boy, I think 15, he was in Spain looking in a music store, and he found them, and he began to play them, and then they became famous after that. And But if you listen to this, what happens is that he's writing this for just a solo instrument, not a lot of other instruments that could make chords and everything, but he makes the chords and he makes the different sounds. And just to give you an idea, and two things are always happening at the same time, and you might be able to hear it. The melody is but he puts chords in So, thank you. What's interesting about this too, I'll just do a little brief thing. When Bach was in Köln, Germany, and he was away from his wife, and when he came back, she had passed on. And so he was very sad, and the next suite, I'm just going to play a little bit, but give you an idea of the sadness in his heart. That has it is written in a sad use of the keys and everything else. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you before I play the next piece is that what's so amazing, I feel that music and great music is very spiritual. And one of the things that's so interesting is that it wasn't until around the 17th century, 1600s early, that they began to use the scale that we're playing all this music on. Before that, all over the world, there were all kinds of different scales, different kinds of quarter steps, really, which is like this. Here's a half step. Here's a quarter step. It's very close. But by the time when Vivaldi and Bach were starting to write this music, they had made it said, all right, we're going to use this scale, which is this scale, like this. 12 notes. And from those 12 notes, we have Beethoven's Fifth, we have rock and roll, we have everything. But it had to do with them making the decision to go with these 12 notes. I don't know what kind of scale or what they were using when you hear about the harp in the Bible and things like that. But we do know that finally, around 1700, a little earlier, they said, no, this is the scale. And so here is the first movement, prelude, and Bach wrote 6 suites. Each one has 6 movements. And this one is written when he met his second wife, Mary Magdalene, and she did so much for him. She got his scores finished and written and everything, and it was a wonderful help. And between the 2 wives, he had 21 children, I think. I think he sort of liked doing that. Anyway, so and this is very happy. You can just feel the difference in his attitude when he writes this. That's it. Thank you very much. And just to say that this is harmony. It's when two notes work together and sound good. And that's what Bach was trying to get across, that this harmony, he wanted to bring it all together. And that's what he did with his music. Thank you.